In this demonstration, I want to show you how to use Cyberduck. Right now I'm on a Macintosh computer, but you can also use this for Windows computers as well now. They just recently came out with a version for Windows. Okay, so first you want to open Cyberduck, which I've already done, and the next thing you can do is go ahead and click on Open Connection. And what we're going to do to connect to our server is use FTP, or File Transfer Protocol. There's also something called SFTP, which you could find also in this list right here, and that stands for Secure Shell File Transfer Protocol. But for this particular class, you're only going to be using FTP, even though you may have used SFTP for other things. So the server that you're going to connect to is leekottner.com, and you're going to use port 21, which is standard for FTP. If you have in the past used port 22, that is for SFTP. Okay, so for us, we're going to be using 21, and the username is going to be the username that I have provided for you. In this case, I'm going to be using PHP student 001, and but it's going to be whatever username that I've provided for you, and the password will also be whatever password I've provided for you. Okay, and on a Mac, it's going to ask you if you want to add it to the keychain, which would allow you to remember the settings so that you can just connect in the future without having to enter the credentials, but I'm not going to do that right now. And on a PC, you should also be able to remember the settings as well. So we'll click on Connect, and you can see here now in this drop down it shows you that we're connected to a /, which is the same as your root level directory. And when I say root level directory, that means that it is the highest level of access that you have to the server. So it is your particular user's root directory. And I will show you what that is equivalent to in the URL later in this demonstration. For right now though, I'll show you how to go ahead and transfer files. Cyberduck's nice because you can use drag and drop functions straight from your desktop. So in this example, let's say that we're going to use this folder as the equivalent of what our student web root would be. Okay, inside of here you'll see that there are a couple of files. One is this index file, and if I take a quick look, it says, "Hi there, this is my main student root directory," and inside of there's a subdirectory called test directory, and inside of it is another index file, and that one says this is a subdirectory within my main student root directory. Okay, so if we decide that we're going to upload those files, what you want to consider is that if this is your sort of like your root directory on your computer for the project that you're working on in sort of its own universe, right, is you don't want to upload the entire one. Okay, you don't want to do that. You don't want to upload the entire directory. You just want to upload its contents. So the root directory's contents would go to the root directory on the server. So in this case, I would select both of these files and drag them and drop them up onto the server. And you'll see that it shows us the transfer log here, and if you were to double click it, you could upload it again. So if you had made some changes, you could just double click this file, or excuse me, double click this transfer log, and it would automatically upload it again. Same would be true if you had a download here. Like, for instance, if I were to pull this down, okay, you can see the little down symbol here. So if I were to double click it, it would just download the file again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move that to the trash. Okay, the next thing that I want to show you is what this root level is equivalent to. Okay, so if we go over to Firefox, let's open something new. Okay, and we're going to go to the subdirectory for this would be student001.leekottner.com. And you see here that it automatically loaded that main index page. Alright, and if we were to then look at the subdirectory, which is called test directory, like this, you'll see that it loads that index file that is inside of the subdirectory. Okay, so you can see what the relationship is between the server and the FTP root. Well, I should say the HTTP protocol, which is a web protocol, all right, when you look at it in a URL versus the way that you look at it in FTP, okay? Sometimes people confuse those two things. At this level of your education, though, you shouldn't be confused by that. What you do want to notice, though, is that in this particular instance, I used the username of PHP student 001, and that is going to correspond to the directory of student 001, which in this case for this class I have created it as a subdomain of leekotner.com, and that is for the ease of doing testing in your domains. You can just go straight to your domain and you don't have to go to a bunch of other directories for the class that you share with other students. Okay, so anyway, that is a quick demonstration of how you can use Cyberduck for FTP in this course.